Hello, how are you doing? Today I'm here to talk about fear. Yes, about fear. We always talk about love, but love for itself, it's impossible to be defined. And why is that? Well, A Course in Miracles says that words are apart from reality because we conceive reality, what we think is reality in our minds, and that depends of our perception. And then we try to put that, what's in our minds, into words. So we're limited even more because words are limited. So how many times you try to describe the way you're feeling, how you're feeling, and then it doesn't make sense when you put them into words. I've recorded once, I think about a month ago, I recorded a video and someone commented on the video and said, oh, I have the feeling whatever you were trying to tell us, it's not even close to what you managed to put into words. And he really got the message, because that's the way I was feeling. Um, I was so emotional, and it was such a deep understanding, and when I tried to put into words it didn't make that much sense. But what I wanted to tell in this video is what we consider fear. Like, what are we afraid of? So we are never afraid of something that's happening at the moment. Our minds are always working on something that might happen in the future. So it's always the possibility of something that might happen in the future. So if you think about your fears, you will know that I'm telling the truth. So normally, for example, if you're afraid, like kids are very afraid of the darkness. And so the darkness itself, it doesn't do anything to the kids, but they are afraid that they can see, and then maybe something comes and catches them, or I don't know. If you are afraid of dying, for example, and then you're always imagining, how am I going to die? So it's always about some possibility that might happen in the future. And from my experiences, every time that I'm afraid of something, that I have fear, then normally it's about something in the future, well, 100% of the time. And this thing, most of the time, doesn't even happen. So what is happening to us is actually that we are suffering of a socially accepted insanity. This is insanity because we are afraid of something that doesn't exist. And that's how we act in our lives. But what I wanted to talk about fear as well is that, it's very easy to identify fear, like with these examples I gave, you being afraid of being robbed or being killed, or, getting a disease or dying, or the darkness, well, you name it, or like insects. I'm very afraid of insects. But there's also the fear is, we have to identify fear is like this sensation that we depend on something outside to sort of tell us who we are. So I'll try to explain that. So for example, when you are upset because somebody didn't return your call, or because, even a very simple example, you go to a restaurant and then the waiter is in a bad mood, I don't know, so he doesn't serve you like with a smile on his face, and then you feel like you've been mistreated. And then you get angry, for example, or you get annoyed because of that, because you think, well, if I go to a restaurant, I'm supposed to be well served. And this is already a sign of fear. And why is that? Because there is this feeling in each of us that tells us that we depend on other people evaluating us or recognizing us, that we have our value. So there is something that in our experience that is always telling us that we need other people to recognize who we are. So that means we are acting upon fear because we don't know who we are. Because if we knew, we would know and be sure that nothing outside can define who we are. So I just wanted to make this video to call your attention to all these moments, these little moments when you feel some kind of discomfort. That's actually fear, which means you've chosen to forget who you are, and you instead chose to believe that you are a victim of the external world. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to tell you. So thank you very much for your attention. I'll see you very soon.